don't know why I did that.
Are we rolling? Yay! Okay.
I think the UK R&B scene is so specific. That's what makes me excited. Is it's like you have that mix of jazz and soul and pop and all of these things kind of coming together that I think no one does it like how we do it here. It's clear that music, like actual raw music, is growing and is popular, and I feel like that serves well for the R&B scene.
People are coming to the UK now to get this sound.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to the Amelia Poamz Podcast. Yes, I'm starting my own podcast. Finally, I've had to say goodbye to imposter syndrome, and that's why it's called the Amelia Poamz Podcast, because I couldn't think of a name. And I just thought, why not? I'm Amelia Poamz, and I love the music industry. I love the UK music scene, more specifically here in the UK, obviously. And if you know me, you know that I've interviewed a lot of artists on podcasts, on radio. I have the Under 5K Club supporting music artists. I have under a particular amount of followers, because I think we need to bring it back to the actual talent and what really matters, even though numbers do matter to an extent, but it's just about shifting the culture. I'm kicking off my first episode with all about the UK R&B scene. I say loosely because I think we have to talk about genre anyway, but when I was looking at my guests, they were mostly tied to R&B when I was looking at the playlist that they were in. Before we get started, I want to shout out to my sponsor, Nozakari, who makes lovely bags, as you can see. Nozakari actually means becoming, and there's just great synergy and like what we both value in terms of like really valuing the journey, the becoming. And I think creative-wise, it's all about the journey. You can't get too bogged down on the destination. It's about the journey, the company, and also just what you discover along the way. And I'm hoping that you're going to discover your new favourite artists on this podcast. Absolutely winged all of that. I'm going to introduce my artists that are here with me today. So we've got the wonderful Kané, singer-songwriter. You can say hey. Dropped an absolute fire track recently, Rules, which I've been banging out. Very happy that it's out. We've got the wonderful Mychelle, singer-songwriter. Dropped an debut album recently. Yeah. Good Day. So it's a good day every day. Every day. And we've got the lovely Amethyst, who very recently had her headline show. Yeah. So we're doing bits. Doing a lot. So thank you all for coming, everybody. Thank you for trusting in me and my yap. And like I said, we're going to loosely be talking about the R&B space. And I know actually earlier it's like genre is that thing of like, yeah, it kind of boxes you in. But I thought I'd just kick it off anyway with just a little quiz about the UK R&B scene. So I'll read out the questions and you just shout out your answer. Because I thought, actually, let's have a bit of an informative section. So, first question. Who knows which UK R&B act won their first Grammy in 1990?
What? 1990. Can I have a clue? R&B. Can I call a friend?
Come on, we can do
this. Like, they're legends. You can't talk about UK R&B without talking about them.
Oh. Grammy.
Grammy.
Go.
We know this.
We do.
Oh my gosh. No, it's bugging me. This is annoying.
No,
I'm embarrassed.
Know this.
Oh. It's here. In my head.
They've got a number in their name.
Do you know what? I'm going to
begins with S.
I feel so.
S to S.
More time.
Okay.
Soul to Soul.
Yes.
Oh,
wow. Welcome.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, Soul to Soul. They actually, they won their first Grammy in 1990.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
Big ups.
Yeah. Sense now.
Guys, we always have to take it back to history.
We do. Do you know what? In my mind, I'm like, I was alive,
but I was not alive.
Yeah.
Actually,
So I was like, I remember watching. I did not watch it.
To be fair, it was before our time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Now, this will be... Actually, I don't know how old everyone is, but it's definitely in my time. Okay. Who was the first winner of Mobo's Best R&B Act? So this was... They started in 1996, the Mobos did.
Okay.
Who won the Best R&B Act? It's another legendary song.
I'm going to start
Bit anything.
spitting out. I'm just going to say Craig David.
Ooh.
No. But that's a good guess. It's a good guess.
Wait, what was that song?
Wait, R&B song.
Yeah, even though when I think about it, I'm like, was that R&B? But yeah, just goes to show R&B just ends up covering so many different sounds.
It's the artist though we're asking
Yeah.
for. Okay. Can we have a clue?
Is it a male artist?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lamar?
No.
Love that.
Oh, you're Elite's your friend out ideas. I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna... Okay, do you want me to sing the first bit of the song?
Yes.
I think that's how it goes. I hope I don't embarrass myself by singing the wrong
You're on
song.
the beat.
It goes, I'm on. Yeah.
That's gonna annoy me. No, I don't want to sing the lyrics.
Come on, guys.
Turn out.
You
Who sang Return of the Mac?
I don't want to say the wrong
from
name.
the UK.
Yeah, I didn't know this.
Yeah,
I didn't know this.
that. Yeah.
Mark Morrison.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I didn't know who's
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Probably would have got the name wrong.
Bangers.
Do you know what I'm saying? I didn't realise I would have been singing it with my chest even more.
No wonder they banged that out at Rowan's. It's a UK hit.
Literally. Okay, so far you haven't got any.
Oh, I'm
You've got a few
embarrassed.
more to
I
go.
knew this was
Let's
gonna.
try
This was
again.
gonna.
Okay,
We got this.
which UK R&B group sang Ghetto Romance?
Group?
The shame.
Nah, this
The
is
shame.
awful. This is awful.
This is awful.
And this is why we need education.
Podcast about like a lesson.
Yeah.
We need to go.
Can we cut this section? Because I'm embarrassed.
You know, I'll use this anyway to test like other people's knowledge.
No.
Okay, do you want a clue? Okay, so their name is another word for ruined or ruin.
Damaged.
Damage. Do you remember Damage? I need me some ghetto romance.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, the final one. I feel like you'll get this. This is an easy one, and I feel like this is also just gonna kind of set context to the first question I'll ask you, which you'll have the answers for this one.
Sure, it's because I've been listening to S Club 7.
Well, I mean, yeah, I was gonna check in some Spice Girls. They're more pop, innit? Okay. When was the first standalone Best R&B category at the Brits? What year was that?
What, like, when did they
recent. It was
introduce
like
it?
Yeah, when did they...
2024. Yeah.
Okay, that was like, yeah, 2024.
Yeah.
2024.
Only.
Only.
Because it was like mixed with, because it was pop, isn't
Pop.
it?
It was mixed with pop before.
Yes.
Okay, bonus question. Who won it?
I think it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's Ray. She's actually won both 2024s and 2025.
Did she?
Oh.
Wow.
So that brings me into the first round of questions where, just for context, the Brits was actually, it started in 1977 and only in 2024 did we have our first like R&B category. Now, I know that they went through a time where they had a category less time. And also the Brits started off very differently to how it is now. So we get it, cool. However, does everyone remember like the discourse we were having around just the fact that why is R&B being grouped with pop? Yeah. And I guess it was like, do we respect R&B in this culture? I mean, in this country. But then you've also seen we've got like Soul to Soul, Damage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So as loosely as R&B artists, and I say this only because I was looking at the playlist that you were in a lot of the time, which doesn't necessarily mean that's what you make. But I was like, I wonder how you're grouped as artists, and it is quite a lot of like R&B. And who knows, hey, the Brits may come around and we're seeing your names and you may be in that category, even though I feel like we need different genres. What's your view on just where we're at right now in terms of like the UK music culture and R&B artists? Now, I know for you, Amethyst, it might be more soul R&B, you indie, yours like more kind of poppy R&B as well. But how do you feel as artists? Like, are you energized by where we're at right now, or are you a little bit disheartened? Like, how do you feel?
I actually feel quite excited, to be fair. I feel like, especially with like Ezra Collective winning awards and winning the Mercury, I just feel like it's clear that music is, like actual raw music, is growing and is popular, and I feel like that serves well for the R&B scene.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of, it's separate, but like jazz and stuff, but it all, I don't know. I feel, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel excited for R&B and live R&B as well, like, you know, because it can be there can be programmed music, but also, yeah, the live stuff I think is quite cool. And I think definitely separating the R&B from pop was needed.
Definitely.
Even though R&B can be popular,
Yeah.
it's just different. And I think it should be celebrated in its own way as well. Yeah.
I feel like we've come a long way, because I even did a session with an artist from Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. They came here for R&B.
Wicked.
Wow.
Yeah. So people are coming to the UK now to get this sound. It's not even just R&B, it's Afro as well, Amapiano. I feel like we're really creating like a hub for real music. So I think I'm actually very excited. There's way more opportunities for us as well. Like, I remember when I was like 21, looking for places to go out and listen to music. Back then, there wasn't so like this many R&B nights, or music that I really like resonate with. And now there's so many. There's one every day.
Yeah.
So I think we've come a long way.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
What about you, Amethyst? Are you energized by it?
Yeah, I think there's kind of what you were saying about how I think the UK R&B scene is so specific. That's what makes me excited, is it's like you have that mix of jazz and soul and pop and all of these things kind of coming together that I think no one does it like how we do it here. But at the same time, I still feel like it's interesting how we're seeing artists that have like, they've been at it for so long, even getting to the point where they're Brit nominated, where you could get a rising star in like the pop scene who maybe has only been at it half the time. So I think there's like, it's very exciting. I think the artists that are in this scene makes it exciting, and I think there's so many great artists about that makes me like, okay, yeah, like we've got something special. But it's like how much longer is it going to take for us to like get heard in the same way that maybe other genres do, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think because we are finally at a point now where the Brits had to acknowledge, this needs to be a separate category. They're listening. People are listening. They're like, okay, hold up.
Yeah.
They got a point. Even though it's crap that it's like had to take this long. But also, like, how would you define UK R&B? Like, how would you define it? Because the fact that we've got three artists here that we could argue in some ways is R&B, but also your music's very, very different. What is UK R&B?
Yeah.
Who are you?
It's a great question.
Because I was chatting about this with my friends, and it was like, is it defined by just the fact that the artist is from the UK? Or is it defined by the storytelling and defined by the culture? Or is it defined by the history of UK music, which a lot of it is about melting pots? Do you know what I mean? I always think about grime, because I think that's one genre that just felt like UK, and it was defiant, it was underground, it was like we're taking like elements from here, and it became its own sound. Do you think maybe that's where UK R&B is heading, where it's like we have to even just almost call it something else?
I think I think it's more about representation and where you come from. I think it's brave of us to be doing music that we've been inspired by so many different places in the world, and we've decided to make it here. And it's nice also that we've got, you know, the music around the world's been able to reach us and inspire us in the way where we've created our own sound individually, but in the UK. And we have fan bases and people really like the music. So I personally think it's about where we're from. I think it's like, yeah, we're from the UK, we make R&B in our way.
Yeah.
I feel like, kind of leading on to that for me, UK R&B is more raw. It's more personal. It, like, partly to do with the storytelling. But I think if you compare it to American R&B, it's almost like this super clean, polished thing, which is great in itself. And I think that's like, there's a lot of R&B acts here that also want to go down that route. But I feel like almost why maybe we sit in different like pockets of R&B is because it's these different like avenues and people's own stories that they're telling, and like how they want to portray themselves is more like, I guess, yeah, the only way I can think of it is raw. It's just like it's more unique to each person and like gritty, like, yeah, I guess that's how, for me anyway, how I see it. It's just, I feel more connected when I listen to UK R&B music, because for me, I feel like I can just hear more of that person's story, no matter if it's more pop leaning or soul or indie or whatever. Like, I guess I get more of their story through the UK. But maybe that's also just from being here and living here. Maybe it's like you get it a bit more.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. What about you, Mychelle? Because also your music's quite indie, I would argue as well. Would you classify your music as R&B?
I'd say it's definitely a mix for sure.
You definitely
But it's hot.
Sorry, no.
No, it's all right.
I was gonna say you've definitely got like R&B vocal,
Oh,
like indie. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's kind of where what you said, like for me, is where I know it does still sit in R&B, because it's like that raw, like emotion and like and the storytelling. But it's a hard one with R&B because it's like a genre. It's a genre that's evolved over over so many years, and where it derives from it's not the same as it was. So it's like, yeah, so it is about the kind of, yeah, like the storytelling and that rawness about it. But that's why as well, bare minimum is separating it from pop, because it just you can't even box R&B in R&B. Like even that's sometimes hard to do. Put
people feel a little bit like this, like a little bit lost as to what categorizes R&B. So then, like, even with my own journey, like I've had people describe me as R&B, and I'm like, but am I? Like, I feel like I'm more soul leaning, but then maybe it's a mixture because I am inspired by that and grew up listening to certain R&B acts. But then the way that it's constantly evolving and changing, it's like, I think everyone is kind of just like, are we classifying R&B as like Destiny's Child R&B, or are we talking about rhythm and blues R&B? Like, yeah, it's
and aren't genres supposed to evolve?
Exactly.
Like, do you think it's because we are just so nostalgic in a way of like, that's the R&B we grew up on, it's never going to be like that we're almost shooting ourselves in the foot because we can't just see it as evolving, as opposed to like, well, can we call it that if it's not this? Do you know what I mean? And also, we oftentimes compare our music culture and our music scene with America's, which I don't think is fair, because America is huge and their culture is different to ours.
They have a different story,
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, what's your thoughts on that? Because there have been people like, well, we're not supporting our UK R&B artists enough, or like some people have dared to say the UK scene is dead, and it's like, well, firstly, like, how did we get there? Because I don't believe that. But how do you feel as artists when it's like there might be this comparison to your journeys as artists in America, and do you even feel like America has to be a part of your journey to become successful?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Why is that?
I feel like the pond is too small here. to be able to get to the level of success that I want for myself. Of course, it's great. I feel like there's so many of us doing such big things. It's like crowded, where we kind of need more space, or we need more land. Like in America, there's so many people that will listen to your music. Even just one state is more than how many listeners you might get in a year of releasing one song in London or the UK. So I do think that we do need to travel to, well, I do. I think I need to travel. I am,
Even in Europe, like I was in Germany, in Hamburg, in some airport hotel, and Pip Millett was was playing.
Wicked.
Is
I was
it?
like, yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
you'd be surprised. I think it is getting better. And like I said, I always use Ezra Collective as an example, because literally, like, it's just music.
Yeah.
There's a demand there. I just think as time goes on and as people support it and we all support each other, because that as well, like, I feel like community and like being a hub, like, even if we were to go to America, having the UK as a base is can be so powerful, but we all need to like tap in together and support each other, and that is how we will grow, where overseas will want to jump on. But I think
That's true.
basically, I don't know, I feel like I said like 5 things in one.
No, me too. I was just reflecting, like, what did I say again?
No, it's great. Like for me, my biggest amount of followers, like listeners, is America.
Yeah, same.
So for me, again, I'm like, I want to be in America. I need to be in America. And I don't know if that's because part of the UK or the industry, I don't know, like, doesn't want to, or only wants to tap into a certain like R&B sound. I don't know.
Well, maybe there's a lot of work going on in the UK and not listening.
Well, exactly. And I think it's
You
also
know?
selective listening. That's what I feel like. It's, you can have X amount of R&B artists doing it, but we're only going to pick one of you that's doing that. Whereas like in the pop scene, we can have 10 of you that look the same, sound the same, and you guys can do that. And I think whereas in America, I feel like it's more of that energy. It's not, we're just going to have one of you, because I don't know if it's because they're bigger or that it's more of a community and everyone supporting each other and collabing and like wanting to work together, that it's, we can all be successful and we can all do this and we're all going to support each other. And sometimes I think it feels a little, I don't know, cliquey is not the right word, because it's not like that, because there's a lot of support as well. But it's I think everyone's fighting for that one spot. It feels like you can feel it a lot more maybe in London than how it seems in America. But I don't know, they could say the same thing about how it feels there, so I don't know. But from this side, it's interesting.
And maybe also we don't realise how well we are doing, because even like generally the UK music market is 3rd in the world. And we're tiny. Yeah. There's like America, Japan, and then the UK. It's funny, when I was looking at a list though, I didn't see any African countries. So I was like, So I don't know who's counting this. But we are doing quite well. However, that's the UK sound as a whole. And obviously we've got rock, we've got indie, we've got like other sounds, pop, all of that. But maybe we're also just not realising how great we are doing, considering our size. And even just like the length of time of some of these genres. Do you know what I mean? Like 1990 is when Soul to Soul won a Grammy, like, and that wasn't that long ago. So maybe there's like that context around it. Another question I want to ask, just because I was thinking about this as well, is the word emerging. What does that actually mean to you as artists? Because I feel like, you know what? Yeah, I feel like we love, and I've done it as well. We love to call artists emerging. And I remember I saw like a show that was full of all emerging artists, and to me, I was like, they're still emerging. I think the other day Ray was still emerging, and it's like, for you, first question: do you feel like you're an emerging artist? Secondly, when do you stop becoming an emerging artist? Because it feels like you're either emerging or established. But being established feels like Adele. Do you know what I mean? It's like, for you, when do you feel like I'm no longer an emerging artist? Because how long can we be emerging?
I have two ways of thinking about it. Like, I have been doing it for a while, so I guess I'm not really emerging. However, I kind of don't mind, because even releasing this album, I've put out 4 projects, but it really did feel like a new chapter, so, and it's like a new thing. So I kind of still want to be an emerging artist, because also I'd rather be emerging and people are still like emerging, I'm excited for this new artist, than be like, oh, her. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like I haven't, and I'm not even established. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, let me be emerging. Keep me being like that. Like, even if it's 10 years time and then I finally get best new emerging artist after 10, I'll take it, you know. As opposed to being like, oh no, we're not going to even consider her because she's been around for too long.
Okay,
because that can happen.
There's that excitement around being emerging.
I'm actually not that mad at it, you know.
I hear it.
I'm not gonna lie, before I was like, oh, but I've been, you know, busking in these streets for a long time, but I'm like, nah, let me still be fresh. Because people are still discovering you every day, even if you've put out so many, like, put out so much projects, you don't know who's seen you, and there's always someone new that's gonna find you, and I think just go with it and just keep it. It's nice to feel fresh.
To
be fair, because when you're established, then you need to top what you are established for.
There's pressure,
and there's I think, be careful what you wish for, because I feel like that is probably harder.
That's true. That is true. How do you feel?
I think I don't have much of an issue being called emerging now, because I feel like in the grand scheme of things, not that many people know who I am. Like, I feel like you can be known within, like, your circle and your, like, genre or whatever, but then when you think about just, like, general fans, I'm like, there's a lot of people that just don't know who I am yet. And I would rather not have that pressure, like, be able to do what I want and, like, you know, fail at some things with no one kind of really watching to get to that established point. But it's weird because you can just flip from being an emerging artist to established. Like, if you go viral or something crazy happens and you just blow up, your life and your views, your fans can, like, completely change the way people look at you, and that is scary. Whereas I'd rather, like, have steady growth, but it would be nice if there was something in the middle of those things. Like, you can be going for a certain amount of years and know the industry well, and I think sometimes people look at you because you haven't got to a certain point, like, oh, but you don't know this, or you know, a little bit like patronising, and it's like, I know things. I'm not saying I know everything. Like, I've got a long way to go for sure, but it's just like, you can't always treat some people who've been in it a certain amount of time the same as someone who's literally started yesterday as well. But I don't have a problem with being called, like, if you want to call me and someone who has just started releasing a song last week, like, that's fine. But it's tricky because I feel like there could be a middle ground of those two things. But then how do you mark that as well? Because it's like, becoming.
Maybe that's true. On that note of actually just supporting artists, right? Because I feel like there's a lot of conversation around, like, we don't support our artists enough. There is a conversation around just the culture and how we support artists, right? And even just the infrastructure that we have as well. Like, Hold Tight Elijah talking a lot about just our radio scene here, and us just certain stations just not playing as many UK artists as we could. There are still, like, the smaller community stations and specialist shows that are doing their thing. But on the ground level, what could we as listeners be doing that's actually going to have an impact in changing that? Because sometimes I think, but the artists are there. There are also the people that are creating the platforms, communities, all of that. Are we just, like, too lazy and we just expect it to be fed to us rather than, like, going out and actively looking? And also, as independent artists as well, what support actually really matters to you? So that's 2 questions. Collectively, what could we do as listeners just to support our scene, particularly that R&B-ish scene? And then individually as artists, what does real support actually look like for you?
I think real support, Bandcamp. Put like merch, paying for things, going outside of like kind of like what's fed to you, leading on to the other point. Like if you maybe hear that one song on Spotify, like dive deeper into that artist's discography, and if you really like it, but help them out, purchase them, see if they're going like have a show or whatever, and like contribute, because I think now it really does matter. And it's nice to also see, like, for me anyway, like on Bandcamp, if someone buys something, I can see that person, who it was, and like it feels a bit more of a personal connection. And also doing a show, like when those people are right in front of you, it's personal. It's like you actually have showed up. Whereas on Spotify, you could have X amount of streams, but I feel like I don't know those people.
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp, yeah.
That?
It's like a website where you upload your songs, albums, what you can put merch, and people pay, like iTunes. How you used to pay 90p for a single, you can do it on Bandcamp. So it's you make more money per track,
And
it goes to
distributors
you.
don't include that.
No, you have to create your own account.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love that. I learned something new.
wow, thank you.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like, I think going back to, because no one had a problem of paying 50p, 90p for a single 10 years ago.
If anything, like you felt proud. Like,
Yeah.
when I went to HMV and buy a
Yes.
CD.
Exactly.
I felt proud. Like, I'm serious about this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it has changed. Streaming has changed
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
But actually, yes, parting ways with our money,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's for merch, shows, buying,
Yeah.
actually buying your music, which I actually think we need to get back there, because
Yeah.
one day Spotify's down, Apple Music's down. How are we listening to music?
Exactly.
I want us to start buying CDs again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I need a CD player again.
Yep.
Yeah, I love
Yep.
the CD.
I love that.
I just remembered something. When I was like 8 or 9, I saved up my £2.50 a week to get my mum the Usher Confessions album.
Oh,
I love that.
It was $9.99, and I saved up my pocket money from my dad, and then I realised I bought it for her, but she already had it, and that's how I knew that she liked it. So like back then, I was spending big money on music.
Exactly. 8 years old.
I was a baby.
pocket money is a
£2.50
lot.
every week. I waited a month.
balling.
Oh, but you see,
So
look how-
yeah, CD, that's cute.
even buying music for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
gone?
Yes.
You can't
Little
even
iTunes
nice.
gift card.
a gig
There you
now,
go.
maybe, I guess. You could buy a gig.
I know you like R&B. Listen to this guy.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to
happened to
bring, we
that?
could bring that back.
Yeah, we should.
Or like making a mix, like a proper mixtape for someone. Like I know you make playlists, but like buy the song, put burn it onto a little CD.
Yeah.
My friend bought me a MP3 player for Christmas and put the tunes on there.
Oh, that's nice.
Green Day.
Oh,
Oh, is it?
I love it.
Honestly,
Yeah,
it's the
that's cool.
thought.
Yeah.
Like, mate, I could go back to like recording on a tape recorder. It just make me think, wow. I feel old, but like there was just that capturing the music, and like now it's just so accessible.
Yeah.
It is somewhat losing its value. But then again, if we had like a week of no music, I'm going mad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Come find me in King's Cross. I'll be busking.
there we go. There we go.
Exactly.
So what about you, Mychelle? What could we do on the ground to actually create
I love that. I've been saying that a lot.
on the
On the
ground?
ground.
On the ground.
Yeah.
Love that.
Because we
ground
always blame it
team.
on like the labels this.
No,
the
the
industry
ground
Oh my
team.
God.
We're kind of placing that power somewhere else, and it's like we're the consumers. Actually, we could take that power back and be like, no, this is how we want to hear music. This is how we want to buy music. This is how
Yeah.
we want to experience music.
Yeah.
So what could we do? And then as an artist, like, what's the best way to support you?
So what can we do to support?
Just the scene in general.
Yeah, I think, like what you're saying, Bandcamp, which I forgot about, and I'm going to jump on that
Get
as soon
on
as we
that.
get out of this room.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to be on it. And shows. And buying the vinyl, buying the
Yes.
physical album.
Yeah.
And literally those things would help.
I think
That's what I need to do, and that was what will help.
Yeah.
Like I'm selling vinyls and I've got a show, but it's like I feel like it's quite hard to get people to come. I'm like, you get a free vinyl on a show.
That's so,
Pull up.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Whether if this was back in the day, like going to see Usher and then you got the album with it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Queue down the road will be down Oxford Street. Will be to Tottenham Court Road.
Literally.
Yeah.
Definitely. We need to, I think it's also reminding people that it's like, when you buy it, that music is yours now. Like, there's no, you lose it.
It's not going anywhere.
Do you know what I mean? That is actually your music.
And you never know what that album will mean to you or do in like 10 years' time, but because you have the physical.
Yeah.
And I see it as artwork as well.
Yeah.
Vinyls for me are like their artwork.
And the little bits inside, like give me the lyrics and like the story behind. Like I just like
with the
that.
pictures and the lyrics. Exactly.
Yeah.
Is there something that is physical that hasn't gone out of fashion or has been turned into a playlist? That is there something that we can?
I know.
You know,
I know.
everything's online.
Literally.
Vinyls are still quite popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got my vinyl. I saw it for the first time on like Friday.
Cool. I love that.
But yeah, thank you guys. But yeah, a lot went into it. Like not just me, like the people that designed it, and then there's like writing, and I wrote like I didn't have to, but I mean I wrote a like message on it, and
That's nice.
yeah, I just think it's so nice to have the physical
It is.
thing,
Yeah.
man.
It
But yeah,
is.
but honestly, Bandcamp, listen, when I step out the door, that will be the first thing.
Like I didn't realize, but even people like Cleo Soul and Salt and that's how they still make a lot of their money. People buying,
True.
and then DJs remix it or whatever they want to do with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just forget that, or don't even know that these platforms exist, which is sad.
That's why we have to keep it going.
Yeah.
I think also like as generations, as we get like older, new generations come to them, like for my brother's age, it's just normal to just stream everything now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think we need to keep reminding people there's other ways to listen to music.
Yeah.
And actually, how many times the artists need to say, I'm not getting anything from the streams. Like, please. Please.
Yeah.
Like, big artists talk about not getting anything. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what about you, Kané? Do you have any ideas on like what we could do on the ground?
Yeah, I do. I feel like we need, like, I'm in quite a few collective like R&B groups, or just UK music scene groups, but I think we need more of a unity. If there was a platform that we all had like access to be able to promote our music, and then we all invested in as well, to make sure that we could all buy tickets to everyone's show, to make sure we all get merch out of it, maybe a subscription. Like if there was something that we had that can guarantee you've got 50 people coming to support you when you've got a drop or something happening, it would be nice. I feel like we do need to also meet each other, have more talks, go on tours with schools, because we want children to listen to our music as well. Like they're growing and they don't have the same access to music as we did. You know, like our parents were playing music to us when we were little, but now I can't lie. Like my nieces and like my cousins, my family don't play music for them. They find stuff on TikTok and that's how they, you know, so they're not really learning the history. So it would be nice to do a little school tour, do a podcast at the school, let the kids know what they can achieve, or find a new artist that they like.
Well, have you seen the kids DJing, like the clips of the... Where was that when I was young? They're teaching some like young kids. I'm sure they must be like maybe 5, 6 DJing.
No, I love that.
No, but yeah, I think there's
We do
definitely
need to
that.
invest.
Because even just culturally, like the house parties aren't really there like that anymore. Because it's also like, how do you come
parties.
across new music? Because
How?
even I think, who was saying this recently? I think the Blues Project was saying, are we letting DJs play new music? Like when we rock up to raves, parties, we're kind of going there wanting to hear the music we already know. Where are those spaces where it's like, I'm going to actually be, just here's some stuff I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Do we have that? So I know we do somewhere. It's happening.
Yeah.
Because I'll never say just because I can't see it, it's not happening. But maybe we need more of that. Like
Yeah.
coming, not wanting to just hear the music you've been listening to on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have more of those.
I feel like someone who's quite good, like DJ AG, like he's a good person
Yeah.
that has like brought so many different people together, and just that thing of you rocking up, you getting to see so many people perform like in front of you for free.
That's true.
Celebs, non-celebs, emerge, whatever.
Yeah.
And you don't know who you're going to discover. And I just think that that's quite a nice way of finding new artists without kind of being like not forceful it, but like sticking in the same circle, or like just Spotify going, here's like some new people you should listen to. But yeah, I think there could definitely be more of those.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
I was just on that note. Maybe, is there like a DJ AG playlist
There must be. I feel,
Somewhere?
there must be.
Yeah.
from all the shows that he's
That would
done?
be good.
Or like even BBC One Extra, like they do support a lot of UK and new music, but I was thinking it would be nice for them to have a Spotify playlist if they have one, and I've not seen it. But what you're mixed, like I've seen my song mixed in with like big artists,
Yeah.
like that track list. I would love to be on a playlist with them as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I think because it's like BBC and they can't be seen to be like supporting Spotify. And
Yeah,
Apple.
that's
So what they
true.
do have is on the track list though, you can click it and it can take you to whatever your DSP
Right.
they
is
have
to
all of
listen.
it as well. Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, I know that there is that for the music artists as well, like discovering and adding it to your playlist and stuff. But even playlists, it's like, again, it's somewhat problematic sometimes because it's just like, how do you even get on the playlist?
Who are the people that do these playlists?
Who
Who are they? Like,
Yep.
hello.
Who are you?
Like, how do you actually get on editorial playlist?
Tell me. I have no idea.
I think there's people you can email. I wish I knew who, but I remember I come across a video where someone said, and they were like responsible for the playlist, and they were like, when you email us, give us more like information about like who you are as an artist, like who you'd be coupled with, like give them more so they can like go off like, okay, this is the playlist that I'll put in and whatever. And I don't know. I know with promo, I know it's not easy.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, I don't want to bombard you with so much that you're like, no, like get to the point. But it's like what to add in. But I know you can email people about playlists.
And when you release, you can pitch
Yeah.
your...
Yeah.
Get the pitch, but they don't contact you.
Spotify.
Oh, really? So maybe
Oh
it's
my
you.
God.
Get over here. Take a seat.
Basically, they have like directors of editorial playlists.
Yeah.
Oh.
Pitch like pre-releases.
Mm.
Yeah. So most of the time, like independent artists can't pitch it. Yeah. Most of the time.
Right.
Unless it's like spotted or like they're viral, you know. Yeah.
Okay, there we
But
go.
then Spotify. So
But then, if it's actually humans, like, what if they call in sick and they miss that pitch? And
Because there's not
they
many of
don't
them,
put
I
it on.
think. Yeah.
because if it is actually, because I just thought it was an algorithm thing.
No.
I didn't know it was actually people doing
Yeah.
it.
because like most of the time they like approve the tracks and stuff.
Right. So there's people actually doing this job.
I need to
Yeah.
Wow.
Or
get
maybe
there.
not anymore. But yeah, sorry.
I
to
think
interrupt.
so. But yeah, but
No,
that's
thank
kind of a
you.
good thing.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's a
true.
human.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's,
to
it
meet that-
is.
You to meet that human.
It's good.
Yeah.
And that's why I guess networking's key as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's true.
Yeah.
And actually meeting people in person. Which, on that note, I'm going to bring it to our next section. Because obviously meeting people, like, yeah, you need energy. Your social battery needs to be up. Being an artist feels like a 24-hour job, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're always probably thinking, like, okay, when I'm here, even if it might be for other reasons, you're probably thinking, like, I should be plugging myself and whatever. Imposter syndrome. So it predominantly impacts women more than men. So I think the percentage from a study done in 2023 was 54% of women experience imposter syndrome compared to 38% of men. That was obviously done then. Obviously, it's different when we bring in intersectionality, like non-binary people experience it more, all of this. However, I know from being a woman, imposter syndrome, like we were saying earlier, is like that fly that just won't go away. And we can look at it as like maybe just how you're socialized growing up, that like you can't be that audacious. You got to be quiet in the corner, cutesy, demure, all of that. But when you are an artist, you require a lot of audacity. You got to go out and ask. You got to kind of claim the space, all of that. What has been your journey creatively with imposter syndrome?
I feel like I struggle with it. Yeah, it's like every day.
And it's not just music.
Yeah. I think
That's
especially
annoying.
in social situations when you're like having to sell yourself as an artist, sometimes when it's not like listen to my song or watch me perform, I think that's like the hardest time to be like, this is who I am, like, you know, take it or leave it, but have that confidence in yourself without, there's some people who just like, I feel like have it, but then you don't know that they're dealing with it as well. And that's the crazy thing is like, how are you showing up like that? And you have that perfect balance of like not being egotistical, but you're just like confident in who you are. Love that. And I think that is something that I like really struggle with. And also that comparing of just like, oh, this person's doing this, like, oh, how come I'm not there? But I've got this, that, you know, it's like, you have to not let yourself be jealous or what. Everyone's on their own timing. And it's just so, sometimes it can be so tricky not to think like that. Or if you have like a knockdown and it's like, okay, pick myself, get back up again. But yeah, I feel like weirdly, I think the more I've actually been in music, the more I've found the imposter syndrome get worse. Because I think it's like then you start to know more people and there's more people to compare yourself to or be in more situations. Whereas like when you start out, it's like, I'm just really, like no one knows who I am. So I can just... But yeah, for me anyway, I just think the more I've gone on and the more I'm like, it's hard to be like, no, it doesn't matter what that person thinks, like you'll get there in your own time. Just as long as you're authentically you and you believe in yourself, cool. But it's hard to tell yourself that every day. Like,
It's a constant dialogue.
yeah.
Like, constantly.
Yeah. And then you might like speak to someone and be like, oh, why did I say that? Like, but they didn't even listen. They didn't even take that, you know, they didn't hear that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to my mum about that actually a couple of weeks ago because I get it at home because like my mum one day she'll be playing my music and then next day she'll be like, all right, Kané, you don't have to sing that song over and over again. But we were talking about it and she was saying like maybe it's a nice way to manage this like feeling in your head. Give that person a name. So we gave
You mean like the
I love that.
so that
the
imposter
name.
syndrome person in your head, give them a name. So I named mine Keisha. Just for bands. Like me and my mum were laughing about this, right?
Yeah.
I named mine Keisha. And it's like whenever that, like, I know who I am. I know what I want. I know that I always want to be a nice person. I always want to give love and support. Whenever like that horrible feeling comes round and then you start thinking things that just aren't true.
Yeah.
You know, we've done this. People have bought our songs. People have seen us perform. So we actually are doing what we need to do.
Yeah.
And like, whenever that person comes around, just be like, "Oh, that wasn't me. That was Keisha. That was that other girl."
I like it.
It might sound a bit crazy, but
No.
it helps my mental health.
Yeah, no, I've heard people also saying like just naming their brain. Like when you're overthinking, just naming your brain and understanding that actually it's just doing that thing again. Keisha is just an off one right now.
Give a random name.
Sure, yeah. But I think it helps you separate yourself from those intrusive thoughts and you realise that actually, yeah, they're over there. Because even like in The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, she even talks about like even like drawing this thing, like this monster that is like responsible for all these like doubts and all of that, to kind of give that separation, to know that it's not you. It's just all of these, all the criticism you've picked up along the way, the comparisons, just your brain doing that thing of overthinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've heard people say that naming it really helps.
It's helped me for the last 2 weeks.
Keisha.
It's been a really stressful last 2 weeks. I've released a song and whenever this comes, like the release period, like release day is coming, I just get such bad anxiety. I start like acting different. I close myself away. I start like not prioritizing things I normally do. So yeah, it's definitely helped this time around.
Yeah.
Okay, that's definitely tangible advice I'll be taking. What
That's
about
a
you?
whole other name.
I just thought.
I do think myself. I say like Mychelle. I think it's so
No,
close.
she can't have the same name.
Yeah,
as
that's
you.
what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. I like that. It's like Keisha.
My mum just said the first name that's in your head, and I was listening to Keisha Cole, and I just went Keisha.
Oh, poor Keisha.
No, but I like Keisha. Stop that.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah.
So,
I also find that even with my goals earlier this year when I was writing them out, you know, sometimes you're writing your goals and then you start getting imposter syndrome, thinking this is not attainable.
oh no.
And like
Oh yeah, I can do that in a year. Oh no, maybe I should make it 5 years.
5 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, this defeats the point of
Yeah.
writing goals. But basically, at the same time, I wrote in my journal all the doubts, all the like extra noise. I wrote that all down and then just put the goal on a separate file, and then made my mood board based on the goals. But then all that extra shit was just in the
Yeah.
in my journal.
I like that.
And then it's like you just feel like you've separated
Yeah.
all that rubbish from what you actually want to achieve, and I feel like that really helped.
Yeah.
And I think I need to do it again because it's like we've already gone past the quarter of the year.
Mm.
So I'm like, I feel like every quarter, well, it's past the quarter, but yeah, every so often check in throughout the year to see where you're at.
But what about busking? Because you busk a lot, right? And that is really like, I'm going to just set up space here and I'm going to sing. It's not even people like actively going, oh, I'm going to listen to Mychelle now. It's like, it's saying, no, you're going to listen to Mychelle. How does imposter syndrome show up in that?
It's so weird because I feel like it's actually better. Like, it's actually easier. Not better, it's easier because it's like I'm just doing me, which is what you do anyway when you make music. It's kind of the same thing. You're just doing you. But when it's like all online and stuff, or shows, you have to actively tell people, please can you buy my music? Please can you buy my ticket? Whereas with busking, it's like you're doing you, and then it's like they choose to come to you. So you almost, it's kind of different. And I feel like it feels a bit more, oh, they actually like what they heard and they've chosen to like tap in.
Does it
So
feel
it's quite a good balance.
really organic in that way?
Yeah. And then also, I think when I got to a point where I just took busking as like a live performance rehearsal, it just changed the game.
Wow.
Just not overthinking it. This is where I practice for my headline show, but it's still in a show setting.
You're selling busking to me right now.
Honestly,
I might actually try it out.
Because I was such a nervous wreck. Like when I used to perform live, and I've been busking for so long now. I do still get nervous, but I'm just like, it's just not gonna kill me if I like do a bum note. Like it's not.
Yeah.
As long as you just like make it like you're comfortable and you know you're like or you don't even react. You just like go on with, like you keep going with it. I think when you show that you're nervous and it like affects the rest of your performance, that's when it's like not that good. But I literally hit a bum note at my show the other day, and I just
I
went,
didn't even clock.
I kind of went, I got carried away.
Oh, yeah.
I just kept playing. But I think busking has helped me feel comfortable to just be in my performance, and also you just get more in tune with your voice, because it's a muscle at the end of the day. When you're working out, you get more in tune with your muscles and how you're working them. It's the same thing with your voice. When you're busking, you just you become more in tune with what you can do as a singer.
So it sounds like the coping mechanisms for imposter syndrome here is separation and also just changing the way you look at it, because it sounds like you've looked at busking as practice, like this is just practice. And actually if we implemented that just in like what we're doing is like we're just in practice. And I say we because like I'm on a creative journey, and even me saying like right at the top of this I said I'm calling it the Amelia Poamz Podcast, and in that I need to name her. I don't know what I'm going to name her, but she was going off thinking, do you mean who's going to listen to that? Who are you?
That's mean.
You know what I mean? But if I said, actually, this is me practicing.
Yeah.
For like, when people like, like, I don't know, they're going to know who I am eventually. And just changing that perspective in that way, but it does feel like an ongoing thing, because I've even felt in my career that like when I've achieved something, you almost think it's gonna go away when you've achieved that thing, but then it comes back just saying worse stuff now. Like,
Yeah.
okay, that was a blip, that was a glitch, or like, how did you get there?
Yeah.
Or, do you know what I mean? And it almost feels like, no, actually I worked for that. But it just is constantly there.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's another thing we have to, like, it's annoying, we get it, but also it means that we still need to grow. And I think in life, whenever there's growth, it's always a good thing. Like the journey and growing and being better and achieving things, attacking things. I think that's what makes life exciting. When you're too comfortable, you're kind of like, what am I doing? Whereas if you have something to work towards, I feel like that's usually the best place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stressful, but
It is. And another thing
what the hand and swat that fly.
Yeah.
what I'm saying, sometimes also, girls, like, it's not even us, it's our bodies. And I wanted to touch on this as well, because I am 32 years old. And I feel like in the past few years, I've become very conscious of just my cycle and how that actually impacts me and what I'm doing for work. And there is a lot of talk around like cycle syncing now, where women are being a lot more conscious of, okay, where am I at with my cycle? This is what I should be eating at this part of my cycle, or maybe I should put in my meetings at this part of my cycle and stuff. However, I feel like that is more recent times, even though actually I know that there are probably other communities across the world that are a lot more privy to this, and this, the fact that I feel like we've come out of sync due to westernized things. But anyway, let's not go down that road. But how have you found your cycle that impacts your creative process? Because there's so many parts to what you do, whether it's writing, whether it's networking, whether it's shows, whether it's all of that. Have you ever thought about it? Have you leaned into it? Or do you see it as an inconvenience? Because also the music industry is still quite male dominated. And when we do look at the differences, it's like actually sometimes we don't have the same energy levels as we did maybe 2 weeks ago. And I know growing up for me, I kind of always saw it as an inconvenience. And now I'm like, actually, what if I leaned into it and I just made sure I just done things at certain times as much as I could?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, how do you think it has an impact on your creative practice?
I think it does. For me, like, I've only really kind of got into this very recently. Like, my flatmate, she's quite good at cycle syncing, and like she knows so much and she's very on it, and she's also an artist, so I feel like she really listens to her body, whereas maybe for me I've been a bit like I'm still gonna do that, and then I'm like, that was just not the right decision for me to go to that event or do that thing when my body was not feeling like it should be. But yeah, I think I've noticed it more so like from a songwriting perspective, like the types of songs that I might write at different points of my cycle. It's quite, and I don't think I realised that until I started to understand it more, and I was like, oh, maybe those two things like are linked, but I've just never kind of clocked that before. But yeah, I think for me it's something I'm like really new to and still kind of listening to my body and like leaning into that more, and yeah, it's interesting.
Which it is, because I was saying to Mychelle earlier that it's like I'm 32 now and only just thought about this when it's been going on for years.
Exactly.
And I've just questioned whether I'm going mad at times, and I'm not. It's just because like you've got your follicular phase, which you're very active, you've got a lot of energy. Yeah. And then your luteal phase, which me and my mum banter about all the time. She's like, she's in her luteal phase because everybody's going to get it. And they will.
Yeah.
They will. But like now, I guess it's that separation again. I guess it's that like, oh no, this is not me. This is just where my hormones are at right now.
Yeah.
And actually, we don't have much control over that. There's things we could do that can help it, but you can't help it if you're not aware of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've noticed that I get really stressy and scramble a lot when I have my cycle. My weeks are really busy. At the moment, I'm trying to find where I'm more comfortable songwriting wise. So I've just been filling up every single week with sessions. I don't think about when my cycle's coming. And then when it happens, I'm like, okay, how do we try and make this a little bit more comfortable? I normally go down the fix my diet route. So I'll be like, okay, cool. I'm not drinking this week. I'm not going to have any like carbs or really heavy meals. And make sure that I treat myself to breakfast. So that's the only measuring I do when that time comes. I do find that when I have my sessions around that time, I write a lot more like songs that are comforting. So like comforting to me is smooth, soft music. So all those bigger songs that you might hear, that's not a cycle song.
Okay. When you say cycle, are we talking about, because there's 4 phases?
Yeah.
The cycle's consistent. So you talk about more your menstrual, like the menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
Okay. Just because again, I've been studying this because I'm like, I'm not mad. Something's going on. But so your cycle starts from when you first bleed.
Yeah.
We're like, we're really getting into this. And then you go into your follicular phase after that. And then you go into your ovulation phase, and then it's your luteal phase. So the cycle is constantly cycling.
I'm talking about the bleed.
Yeah.
The bit that I don't want to say.
Which is crazy because it's like, it happens
every month.
Yeah.
It's part of life. And even with that, we need a cultural shift around that. And I know actually, but then again, it's down to everyone. Like, it's also between you and your body. So you don't need to be advertising it. You don't need to disclose to people, no. But I find I feel better when I tell people. Like, I'll tell my guy mates, listen, it's the runway. I call it the runway. We're on the runway now.
Of that.
So don't. I just said, listen, I'm just being a bitch right now because I'm on the runway.
Yeah.
Or I'm feeling really good. Follicular.
Yeah.
That's the sweet spot, the follicular phase.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that you said that you do write differently when you're in that phase.
100%.
What about you, Mychelle?
I feel like I haven't noticed writing wise, so I'm actually going to tap in. But I do feel like voice wise, sometimes when you're like just about to come on or like on, I feel like I just feel a bit more rough. So even my voice feels a bit more rough.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. Yeah, it's crazy. It's all, we should tap into more because it's all a science. Hormones.
Yeah.
I even tapped in a little bit, and I have so much more to learn, and like what foods you eat and how fats are connected to your hormones and like all of this stuff. Like when you're not watching what you're eating, how is that having an impact on your hormones, which is going to have an impact on your cycle.
100%.
So
even like sleep, I think during your luteal phase you need more sleep. In your follicular phase, you can function off of less sleep.
I've noticed that for sure. Yeah, 4 hours and I'm thriving.
Wow.
But
4 hours
later,
no food.
Yeah.
Thriving.
Yeah. And you need to up your magnesium around your luteal phase as well. Just little things.
Yeah.
Like actually, it's like if you're aware of it and you just test it out, it could also just be easing certain parts. But again, it's like, it's crazy how we're just in school.
like,
I learned one little thing about sanitary towels and that was it. You know what I mean? Like, just
If you need one, just come to the office.
and then it's all secretive and it's all do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I used to hide them in my skirt.
Yeah.
Around just in the side and go toilet.
Do you know what I mean?
Mad.
But even like practical things like going to the studio.
Or like under
Yeah.
my sleeve. I'll just pop it in there. I'll be like, can I get toilet, miss?
Yeah, like being in the studio when you're on your period. Like
Yeah.
still for
gosh.
me sometimes I'm just like, why should it be awkward? And I feel like I'm trying to be more just be like, yeah, it is what it is. Like, I'm going
Yeah.
Take the time one out.
Yeah.
you see this?
I'm going to, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even sometimes, like I've been to some studios before where the toilet was just
Not suitable.
It's not
Exactly.
what we gonna like
Oh.
crazy.
Yeah. Or like,
Change that.
Yeah.
I went to a studio session the other day and I had to be buzzed out to go to my car to get my gear,
See?
to get what I need, and buzzed back in. And they were like,
Why do you need to go to the car? The toilet's right there.
Oh, come on now.
Read the room.
Because I need to get something.
People shouldn't even be asking
Yeah.
questions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, they should just have that in the toilets. I'm very proud of places where I go into and I can see.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
finally.
Comfortable.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we get it.
Take it.
Exactly. But I would definitely encourage cycle syncing or just like being a bit conscious. Even I know around some of the apps that track it, there's like problems. They're saying that some apps are like using your data in certain ways. I'll let you dive into all of that.
Oh yeah, I think Clue's good for not doing that.
Okay, I use Flow.
Oh, I use
Apparently
Flow,
Flow's
yeah.
not great.
Or maybe Flow's not great.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, I think Clue's, or I'm sure
Okay.
it's Clue. Anyway, yeah.
That's a good question, though. That was a good question.
Yeah.
Because listen, I'm at that age now. I feel like I'm just
thing. Your whole
have
life
to
makes
think
more
about
sense when you
that.
tap into it, and you're like,
Yeah.
this is what I've been dealing with all these
Gotta
years.
take care of ourselves.
100%. Like we literally shove away a huge part of what we go through, like constantly. There is no moment where you're not. Then you've got like premenopause, and then you've got menopause, and even with that, like women are still learning about this stuff that is inevitable for our bodies, and we can bring that into conversations, and there shouldn't be shame around it at all. And actually, if everyone, because it's not just about women understanding this,
Yeah.
I'll say to my brother. I'm sorry for my brother.
Also, some people with their cycles not regular, and that also has an impact
exactly.
on how they function as
Exactly.
well. So yeah,
You've
it's
got
good to
PCOS
just.
and endometriosis. You've got all these other things that it impacts us all differently. And actually, us just being more in tap with ourselves actually allows us to be more considerate to other people as well.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the next album, The Cycles. On another aspect, I guess, of like womanhood as well, is have you got a subconscious age in your head that is like a cut-off period for you?
Wow.
Because stupid X Factor and this over 25s,
Yeah, they really got me with that one.
crazy.
Glad
That,
it was cancelled before. Glad it's cancelled. Yeah.
hold on. Wait.
Yeah. They try to shame me.
There are people in like 60-year-olds
No
with 27-year-olds. Crazy. But I do feel
I'm
like
joking, Simon. Don't kill me.
I can't believe I picked that category already.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Mad.
And it's like I find it interesting as well because they say I think your frontal lobe fully forms when you're 25.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that has something to do with it, where like your frontal lobe is now fully formed. They don't want anything to do with you. You're gonna be assessing situations differently.
Right.
But it has created this weird vibe.
Yeah.
It's like you need to be successful by a certain age, or it's kind of like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But when I listen to artists, I never think about their age. Like, it's crazy. But I know for artists, age can feel like a factor. That there's almost like a time, like there's a ticking time bomb almost. Or like, I need to make it before this, or like, this is my prime time. Where are you at with like age? Is that something you think about?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
I've let it go a little bit now.
Let it go.
I think because I'm pushing 30.
Even pushing 30, what is
It's young. No, that's what I mean. It's because of it's that spot where 21-year-old me was like, oh, like I need to make it before I get to like 25. But now that I'm like quite some time over that, I'm like, actually, I'm still young. And you know what? It's not that big of a deal. And also, I'm like, the music I make and the vibe I'm going for is not. I don't need to be some fresh young abs hot thing.
got life experience?
The more life experience, the better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, more to write about.
Yeah, so I actually have let it go a bit. I think the only thing where age plays a part in my mind is like starting a family, because actually that scientifically is harder as you get older. And I mean, not scientifically, biologically, it's biologically a little bit harder as you get older. So that's kind of the only thing where age really makes me, where I sometimes think, oh, okay, but I still have time. So I'm trying not to stress. I'm just trying to, enjoy the journey and the process, because also like, I don't know what this life has planned for me. So I don't want to waste time stressing over things that might not even be for me. Just enjoy what I can
Yeah.
as doing it. Because when you reach things in life, whenever the journey feels crappy, it just doesn't feel as sweet. So if you just enjoy everything that you do, I don't know if that's naive to say it like that, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Why are you doing this if you're not going to enjoy it?
Yeah, there's no point stressing over something to reach a destination, because most of the time destinations are never as great as they seem to be. Whereas like a little nice day that you treated yourself to, or an interaction with a friend that you did, usually they're the things that stick with you more.
Yeah, exactly.
My packed lunch that I brought to the studio, that was very tasty, means a lot to me, you know.
Yeah. Exactly, just the little things. 100%.
Yeah, honestly, it really is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so at age I've kind of let it go a bit.
That you let it go a bit. You do kind of think about it.
Yeah, I think because I've just pretty much started not too long ago. I feel like, I could have started this ages ago. Like, I was doing something completely different before. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, I only have until I'm 30 to make something else. Yeah. So that's just something that I've been thinking recently. I definitely want to unlearn that. I definitely don't want to feel like that. I think that's just unrealistic. But it's also, I have a little sister and she's 20, and you know, we both listen to completely different music. So I have thought about like age, but not like trying to tap into like what she's doing, and then I think about what I was doing when I was her age. So I think age is a big thing right now. It's also, like you said, starting a family. Like I just think about how I'm gonna get there when I need to do this.
Yeah.
So like I have given myself like 4 years.
Really?
To try my best to do to be able to do this full time.
Okay.
And then I'll feel comfortable to like relax. And then if I was a bit older, then I would still give myself 4 years. I feel like that's the time limit for me.
Okay. So it's more like a business plan in a way. Like
In
the next 4 years, and less so much about age.
Less an age deadline, more of a time.
I think I kind of did do that as well. And I think when the deadline was coming, my life did shift. So it is good to do that as well. Because then you'll just graft to that point before the deadline that you've set yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. Yeah, not age, but setting yourself goals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
also, starting a family, that's a very valid point as well, which I feel like a lot of women have that. Career, family. Like, even like you can do it, like, you can manage it. And also, like, you can have children later on. My mum had my brother at 42.
Yeah.
Really?
That's what I'm holding on to.
I'm now holding on to that as well.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
My biological clock has shifted in my mind.
That's amazing.
So it's like, you can, like,
Okay.
I think there is this pressure that's just applied. But also this obsession with youthfulness. Even though youthfulness, I think, is a feeling. It's like, you can stay youthful, but there is this obsession with you have to be very, very, very young, and that's when everyone's going to want to listen to you. And I don't know, I don't care so much. I've enjoyed Cleo Soul's music the older she's got. Do you know what I mean? Ray, like, the older she's got, it's like the writing has changed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think also with like that youthfulness is, I think, more with women. It's like they've got to stay. It feels anyway that it's not almost the same kind of feeling for guys, that they can peak a little bit later. But and I've had like people tell me, if you'd done like started this X amount of years ago, it would be very different, or like, you know, it would have helped if you were younger. I'm like, or you need someone to manage you who's older, or someone who's more experienced, rather, like, it's very interesting. But I think for me, I'm just like, well, I'm in it now. Like, it doesn't matter what time I get there. Like, I get there. 'Cause I love what I'm doing. I'm not going to stop. But I think the only thing, that does play into it for me is like I'd love to be able to be doing this full time, that I could afford to have a family. And it's just, when's that point going to come? That's scary. It's like pushing it back. But, I'm going to do as much as I can to get there. But I think it's good to have that goal of like, I'd like to be there in X amount of years and see things in little pockets of time.
And I think that's cool, because everyone kind of has like a 5-year plan. I think that's healthy. It keeps you, you're kind of measuring also at what pace are we moving. So in the note of like business, because you even mentioned like having a manager that's older as well. I know as an emerging artist there is a point where you get to like, right, I feel like I need a team. Do you have a team? Okay, you don't. You have a team. Do you have a team?
No.
Okay, so question for you, Mychelle. When did you know, okay, I need a team now? If you did ever have that thought. And also, how did you measure whether like these are the people I want to work with?
So for me, I went to busking as well because I felt like I just didn't feel ready to record music. So I literally was just busking like a couple times a week because I was like, I want to get out there, because my goal was to find a team first that discovered me and liked what they heard and thought, oh, why is this girl not got any music out?
Oh, okay.
So that's how I kind of went about it. And I did it for years, and fortunately that actually did end up being the route that I went down. And my manager that I still work with now, he saw me busking and he reached out. But a lot of people had reached out and it didn't work out.
Really?
Or they like promise you things that they don't like deliver.
Without giving away too much anyway, what have you realised is important when building a team then? Because you said you had some ones that didn't work out.
For me, like, my manager wasn't working with them, but the team kind of were working together already. No, they were working together already with other artists. But I knew that they were the people that I wanted to work with because it felt like they were elevating, and still does, they are elevating what I am doing already. It didn't feel like I had to change who I was. It was just like, an elevation of the music that I write, and just basically helping me record and put that together, which is nice. And that's why it's also good working with an independent label, because I think that's usually, well, in our case, the driving force, like the artists being who they are.
So
just getting it out there.
So it felt like you were actually really being supported.
And
then, like you just said, just elevating. What about you two? Where are you at? And do you feel like you need a team now? Or are you kind of like, I'm good for now?
I feel like I would like a manager. Because I have a booking agent and a lawyer, but it's not really like a team. But they're people that I can like go to for certain things, and that definitely helps. But I think for both of those people, they're like, okay, well, for you to like get to the next point, it would be good if you had a manager, because then it kind of like helps link us together and like help promote you more to the people that we know. So it's funny because like we were saying this earlier, I don't mind being my manager. Like I have no problem with sending emails. Like I like kind of seeing everything that's coming through and getting to like have those conversations. But I just think from a perspective of like people who just know someone that I don't think I would ever get to meet, maybe it's like having that middle person that I feel like I would need, that could just like champion me a little bit harder, because sometimes it's and for me it's like you said about how you have to like go after these things yourself, absolutely, but sometimes it's like those people just don't listen when it comes direct from the artist. Like they just want to know that you've got other people on your side, and that for me is the reason why I would want it, because it's like I know I could probably do these things, but sometimes there's just certain people who don't want to listen if you don't have anyone that's like backing you. So
it's like a cosign.
if they don't believe in you, then I won't.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly.
If you don't have anyone.
Yeah.
I use my friends and family's names for emails.
Love it.
I literally called my friend Kyla and I was like, hey babe, can I use your name on the email please? If I need to go to this radio station, can you come with me? And she was like, all right then, go on.
Oh, I
So,
love that. Perfect.
Yeah, like I've had trials with managers for a few months, but I think I'm at a point where there's not much to manage yet.
Okay.
And it's more about development. So I'm supported by the producers I work with the most, which is Joelle, AB, and Stevie. Stevie will do like, because he's got his studio, the control room. He would do most of like if I need help with an invoice, or like if I need help emailing people. He's really good with business. And then Joelle, he's a session musician, and a producer. But he would help me with live performance rehearsals, sourcing people to play with me, or even like setting up sessions with new artists. Or like he'll be that. He also does my tracking engineering. So if I have to go to a session and I feel a bit nervous, he'll come with my vocal chain, and he'll be like, "Hey, yeah, once you made the beat to a new producer, I'm gonna record Kané. This is the way we do it."
Oh, wicked.
So that's the support I've got right now, and I really like it. Yeah, it is a team. So, but yeah, the guys they really love what we have, and we are trying to make it something. So, at the moment, yeah, that's what I've got.
Okay, yeah, because a lot of people do say just sometimes the people around you, like if they've got a particular skill, they can step in. It doesn't have to be long term. But I think Stormzy's manager was like his friend. No, I think he spoke about sometimes just using the people around you. Actually, you might have a friend that's very organised, on it with admin, very personable. Like, because that's key with managers. You got to be personable. Because I've definitely liaised with some managers that I'm like, are you an op? Why is this so difficult? And there is definitely that some managers actually want to be the star themselves, which is a bit. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, no.
They save the contacts for themselves.
Do you know what I mean? They want to be at all the parties,
or they'll put you in something that isn't for you, just for them
to be there.
You know, I've got a friend who was to perform at an event that was a completely different genre, but it was mainly for their manager to network. So, you know, they didn't really want to do it, but they just did anyway, and they're not actually with that manager anymore. So, yeah.
I've got a friend of mine that's a really dope manager, and even he said he was an artist as well. And I think it's great to have that experience of knowing what it's like. But then even he said it's like, when you're a manager, it's about literally having someone's career in your hands. It's not about you. It's about them. You're like living and breathing like them. And if you're trying to be the star, how is it going to work?
Yeah. I feel like I'm not ready for a manager just yet. I think I want to wait until maybe next year. I want to put my project out myself. I feel like I want to earn success. I've been approached by distributions as well, and I was about to, the song Rules that I just released, I was about to sign that to a distributor, and I just saw the contract and went, oh, I don't understand anything on here. So I'm just not going to do it. And I don't want to wake up tomorrow morning with 50,000 streams and I don't even know who they are.
Okay.
I really want to connect to people and I want to earn it. So yeah, right now I'm going to see how my year goes without management and just try and push myself. Yeah, I feel like I'll feel a little bit more like I earned this spot. Is that me putting too much pressure on myself though? Because
it's your journey. Everyone's got different whys and measures. And actually, on that note, because also we are running out of time, I've got maybe three final questions. You mentioned numbers and streams. If we took away numbers, so you couldn't see how many streams you got, whatever, how many followers, how many likes, whatever, how are you measuring your success?
Can you have like follow account it's like social media is not a thing.
Let's
either.
just say suddenly can't see the numbers anymore.
Yeah.
How are you measuring your success?
For me, I'd say maybe a show.
Yeah.
Okay.
People show up.
If the shows
Yeah.
are growing.
Yeah.
Okay. So the shows.
Money.
How much is on there?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't use the money I've made so far for anything yet. But
Okay. So money, expenditure, like what you can
Money.
actually spend it on. Shows. But I guess it's also like, how are you counting how many people are in the room? So there's numbers to that.
Oh, so we can't even count that.
I guess, okay, let me phrase
How
this
big
in
the
another
choir-
way.
sorry.
Maybe someone's singing your song.
Yeah, how big's the how big is the crowd
Okay.
choir singing your like, do you know what I
back
mean?
to, yeah.
Yeah, are you
Someone
singing alone?
noticing you in Tesco.
Yeah.
Okay, so being noticed out and about.
How many people like contact you, like maybe email and like, I heard your music, I'd love to work with you, or I'd like to offer you this opportunity, depending on what they're like offering, I think would maybe tell me kind of where I'm at.
Okay. Good. I'd just like to just throw that in there. Final question, because I know we're running out of time. What's happening for you now? What are we looking out for? I've deliberately asked what's happening now as opposed to what's next. Because there's constantly this idea of like, okay, you've done that. Like you've released your album, you've done your show, you've released your latest drop. What's next? No. What's happening now for you that we can tap in and support? Come on, guys. Imposter syndrome.
Right now, I've just released a song called Rules. It's on all platforms. And like right now, I'm in the process of just going crazy with content on that song and putting out lyric videos. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay. And your socials?
My socials is, my name's Kané, but I can't get the accent on the E. So it's Kane.Lamard on every platform. So yeah, that's who she is.
Yeah. Mychelle.
So I released an album, my first ever album called Good Day. And yeah, I'm just, same thing, pushing it. And I just want it to just reach more people and just really live and I just really want people to enjoy it. Like I was saying, I want people to feel like they enter the world and they want to keep going back there and they want to share this world with everyone else. Because I feel like, I think of Cleo Soul, I feel like her a lot of her success is people going, look what I found. I entered this world and I liked it. And you are going to like this album too. I feel like Sims's album as well, and maybe Introvert, really did that.
Okay.
And look, it propelled her career. So yeah, I'm hoping that hopefully this album is the same kind of vibe, and just trying to enjoy the fact that it's out, and and I want to enjoy seeing where it leads to.
And it will, and I'm going to clip this to like something else in the future. About that was Mychelle talking about hoping that it's because you're going on tour with Georgia Smith soon.
Oh my God.
Imposter syndrome, everybody.
Yeah. So that's happening this month actually.
Wicked.
May. So that's sick too.
And aren't
Can't
you?
wait for
Are you
that.
performing across the tracks as well?
Yeah. Which is also really cool because
Crazy.
I always saw that lineup and thought this is a nice festival,
It's one of my favourites.
good music. So I'm very honoured to be on the lineup.
Yeah.
And I feel like this year as well, UK heavy, and I like
Doing
it.
well.
So yeah, I'm excited, and I'm early, so I get to like enjoy the festival.
Yes, we love it.
That's it.
Okay. Well, congrats.
Amazing.
Amethyst, what's happening now for you?
I released my EP Daydreaming end of last year, but I'm still very much like promoting that content, just getting it out there because I'm so proud of it. Like took a long time to make, and I feel like that same thing. It's like that world that you want people to come into. And there's a visualizer for one of the tracks, Loving is a Crime. So hoping to do maybe some more for that project. And just right now I'm working on a lot of new music. I actually wrote a song yesterday that I'm very very excited about. So, but don't know when that's going to come out. But for now, yeah, just still pushing that project. Hopefully some more shows. Yeah.
We're going to take out the hopefullys and say, yes, there will be.
It's happening.
There will be. We've got to speak it into existence.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being a part of my
you.
episode
Thank you.
1. It is going to grow and evolve.
You did say hopefully, because it is.
It is.
is.
It's working the hardest way. But yeah, it is going to grow and evolve because it has to. Like, you pour energy into something, it has to go somewhere. And I'm just going to stay consistent. And my hope, my hope is that every guest that I have on here, people have to come back to this episode and be like, "Raw, Amelia spoke to them."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Trying to capture a moment in time and in culture. So yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh yeah, stay tuned for next episode. And subscribe. Like, share and subscribe. And that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Thank you.